How you doing, everybody? Hope you're having a good day. Looking forward to tomorrow being the Lord's Day. Isn't it amazing how fast these weeks are just flying by? But anyway, that kind of sets up what we're going to talk about. Looking at the end. You know, the other day I was having a discussion about heaven. And I was taking the scripture dealing with the end and how man is going to experience the end of time and what happens afterwards. And of course, we know that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, Genesis 1:1. And we also know that the earth will be destroyed, 2 Peter 3 and verse 10. And somewhere in between is where we are. And so we're going to look at this and the end of time and ask the question, will anyone get to heaven any quicker than anyone else? Well, only one person has. And other than fact, Jesus is already there in heaven at the right hand of God, and he's also in an authoritative capacity. We can say anyone else is anyone else already there? I don't think so. See, we hear it in funerals all the time, and we always hear, yeah, they're in a better place now. Well, yeah, in a way that's true, because if they were faithful Christians, they're in paradise. But they're a place of comfort. But yeah, I believe the idea is wrong. And yeah, everybody has their opinions, but first of all, we know that we're all going to die. Hebrews 9:27 tells us that. It's appointed for man once to die, and after that the judgment. And we all know that everyone will face the judgment. Now, Matthew 25 gives us one picture of the great judgment scene where all the souls will be. You know, this is where the sheep are on the right and the goats are on the left. And Jesus speaks to each group. And so he speaks to one group at a time and then the other. And we see that the punishment or reward is issued at that time. So everyone will be judged and sentenced at the same time. Everyone will go to one of two places at their judgment. Either it will be heaven or it will be hell, and there are no other options. And we also realize that such sentence is final and will never change or cease. That's what the rich man was told by Abraham. There's a great gulf and no one can cross over for any reason. All right, so we think about this, and we speak about how grand and glorious it will be in heaven. You know, in Revelation 21, it talks about that great city and the streets of gold and all the opulence and the jewelry and the pearly gates and the tree of life by a pure river, the crystal sea, all that good stuff. But my personal opinion is that heaven will be so great, we will not notice the golden street or the tree. We're not going to notice that stuff. See, in Ephesians 3:20, Paul tells us that whatever we think or ask, God's going to supply it abundantly, beyond anything we might think or ask. So whatever we, in our human capacity, can picture about heaven, I believe it's actually going to be better than that. I think it's going to be so great and so awesome that really nothing else is going to matter. You know, every now and then you hear somebody say, well, when I get to heaven, I'm going to ask God how he did this or why he did that, or if I get to speak to Paul or Peter or somebody else from the Bible, I'll ask them these questions. Well, folks, when we get there, none of that is going to matter. It won't matter anymore, because there's something that's much better, so much better than we can even imagine right now. And so we're going to be there in the presence of God and the Lamb. I mean, all the creatures are going to be bowed down before God and the Lamb. And we're told that this feeling will never diminish or fade away. You know, 1 Peter 1:4 tells us that. Can you imagine all that excitement? You know, when your team is in a championship game and they win the ball game, there's so much excitement for how many hours? Yeah, several hours. I mean, we're talking about there won't even be such thing as years back then, but the excitement of being on the winning team is going to be lasting forever, and it will never get old. See, there will be nothing of the human experience to limit us like we have today. See, we are limited by time and space and physics and numerous other things. And that is why it is hard to really appreciate the things of heaven, or for that matter, understand that hell is going to be a pretty bad place. And so we can't figure that out while we're still in our humanity. So anyway, as we were discussing, we concluded the discussion. I realized that thinking about heaven and eternity is really what keeps me going. You know, I think a lot of people can say that. I mean, as we get older in life and more mature, we realize this world is not our home. We're just a passing through. And so our treasure, yeah, like the song says, our treasures are laid up somewhere beyond the blue. And so that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that place, the city built by God. And so that's what keeps us going and serving the Lord. And we all get to that point in life where we realize that this earth is just temporary, and what is really important is eternity. And some people never grow out of their youthful stage where they're not thinking about eternity, but yet it's there. And when they come to the end of their life, they're going to realize it, and for many of them, it will be too late. See, when we focus on heaven and heavenly things that we read about in Colossians 3, verses 1 and 2, see, our behavior and actions will reflect such. And that's what we're supposed to do. We will live like we have something to live for. And we will live with the purpose God intended for us to have. And we will be the faithful of God who practice righteousness, realizing that by God's grace we can be acceptable to Him. See, Paul said that our citizenship is in heaven, Philippians 3:20. And we realize that heaven should be our home. We also realize that to get to that home, we need to be faithful and help others go to that home as well. See, a preacher I once knew preached that one cannot go to heaven alone. They have to take someone with them. And of course, all you have to do is study the parables of Jesus and realize the importance of working to bring others in. And I realize this is a true statement. See, if we're going to heaven, we have to lead others there also. And we do this by setting an example for them, and setting a godly example, and then teaching them the truth. And then, of course, if we have taught them properly, they will obey the gospel. And once they've obeyed the gospel, we still need to encourage and edify them, strengthen them, and help them be ready to teach others also. And so we should assist them if it becomes necessary. So the question is, are you looking forward to going home to heaven? And that's something, like I say, as we get older and more matured, that plays on our mind a whole lot more than it did before while we were young. We were busy when we were young. We had too much to do to think about it. But now, guess what? It's going to be there. And so, as the writer of Ecclesiastes said, remember your Creator in the days of your youth. Some of you are still fairly young, and I encourage you to set heaven in your heart, set eternity in your heart, and do what you can to be pleasing to God, and knowing that you can't get there without helping someone else along the way get to heaven. I mean, that's what it is. You know, the idea of bear fruit. I mean, if the plant that did not bear fruit was cast into the fire. And so if you don't bear fruit, you'll be cast in the fire also. So consider these thoughts. I mean, it's the looking at the end, there's some things that we can look forward to with excitement, and then of course we know that means our life is going to end here. But considering everything that's going on in this world today, is that so bad? Really, I don't think so. And sure, we'll leave our families, we'll leave our children, our grandchildren, great-grandchildren, whatever the case might be. We'll leave those that love us behind. But you know what? If we're faithful, we will be in a better place. No doubt about it. So consider these thoughts. We're going to end our lesson and consider these things. And we hope that you'll have a good day today. Get ready for serving the Lord tomorrow. Assemble with the saints. And get yourself ready for heaven. I mean, that's something we need to be thinking about all the time. Are you ready for heaven? If not, you need to be. And so get ready for heaven. And so that's going to do it. So y'all have a good day, and bye-bye for now.